Wake up in the morning and I got my beats brewing. Beats brewing, need my beats brewing.
Hashtag beats for brewing.
What's up? My name is Shogun. This is my co-host Lazy.
Hey.
This is Beats for Brewing, and today we're here with Joe BZ.
What
How you doing today, man?
What's up? Let's get it started. Oh yeah. So,
Here to talk about some beats.
beats.
How long have you been making beats for, man?
Man, I've been making beats since I was like 15 years old. I'm 36 now.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
A lot of experience under his belt.
I'm an old man, but I'm not an old man.
Yeah.
Some say old, some say experienced.
Right.
But nah, yeah, man.
Oh,
Since
that's
I was
dope.
15, I've been at it 15. Like literally, when Fruity Loops dropped, was kind of like my adventure into beats. So the very first Fruity Loops that came out was the very first thing I learned
That's
on.
dope. That's dope.
And I've you know what I mean. I've switched since then. Like I you know what I mean. I used to work at this studio downtown, and like I got to learn how to use the MPC. So like Fruity Loops and the MPC were literally like the first two things that I learned on. And then I kind of learned how to use Reasons a little bit, but then I always ended up just coming back to Fruity Loops because it's just I just like the layout. It's a little bit
Was it,
easier.
like, I bet there wasn't like too many plugins and stuff back then as there is. Like,
No,
now.
there wasn't. What's cool is a lot of the stuff that Fruity Loops has had, they're still there. You know what I mean? So like a lot of the stuff
So,
that
like,
came
the
with it,
core
yeah, they still
structure,
have those.
yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of like grew with the program. They
Yeah.
just look a little different now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But definitely, man, definitely plugins now. There's so many. I mean, you can go that. There's literally like there's a website dedicated to it. It's called Plugin Boutique. You can just literally go on there. It's just plugins.
Get all
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many instruments out there. So many DAWs. I mean, and it's just gonna keep growing, man. That's.
So you prefer to use like Fruity Loops over like a beat pad?
You know what? Well, I mean, like I said, I have my mini keyboard, so I could kind of do, you know what I mean. And my mini keyboard has the pads on it, so I can kind of
Yeah.
do some of the stuff, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I'm more, you know what I mean. Like I said, because back in the day, you know what I mean. It was mainly mouse and keyboard, so that's what I learned on. Like I can literally,
Yeah.
like I was telling you, I can play my regular, keyboard that you would use to type letters and shit. I can
Letters,
play
yeah.
that like a fucking piano. You know what I mean?
that's
So it works
I
out.
just got used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. I use both. I'm actually trying to get that. There's a new MIDI keyboard that MIDI instrument that they just came out with dedicated to Fruity Loops. It's called the FL Fire. Akai makes it,
That's
and it
dope.
looks like the way your Fruity Loops is set up. It kind of has a similarity on the.
It's
Looks
just,
like it.
physical,
Yeah.
though, like, so you
Yeah.
can,
So
like, use it.
that's what I'm. That's what I'm getting for. Hopefully my girl will buy it for me for
Christmas.
Baby, I love you.
So
Nah, you know.
do you usually like come up with like your own shit, or do you like to use samples and stuff? or-
Everything, man. There's nothing that I won't really, you know what I mean? There's nothing I won't do. If you know what I mean? If I find a really dope sample, I'll use that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes you find some really dope loops. I don't do it very often, but you know what I mean? You'll find some really dope loops, but it's all about cutting and chopping it and making it sound like your own.
Yeah,
You know what
of
I mean?
course. Putting your own
That's
flavor
what
on
it is, you know what I mean? Tweaking the sounds, you know what I mean? There's so much you can do other than, you know what I mean, just getting a sample or if you
Yeah.
sample somebody's like a popular song, you know what I mean, or like a popular old classic Motown something, rather than just taking it and, you know
Putting
what I
it
mean?
on there.
Putting it on there and just letting it and then
Changing
making beats
tempo
around it. Yeah,
and-
do something with it. Stretch it, distort it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chop it up, rearrange it. Like there's
We've used beats with samples that like when they tell us to sample it is like go look up that old song and it doesn't even sound the same at all.
yeah.
Like, they,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Totally chopped or
You
mixed
can't even tell
or-
it's that sample. And, like that's
For sure, I sampled I did a beat for TL, the Inspired Ones. I did a beat for them, and I sampled. It was like the same. It was the same sample that Busta Rhymes used for "Wah, Got
shit.
You All in Check."
Yeah.
But it's the same sample. But if you hear the way he flipped it and you hear the way I flipped it, they don't sound alike at all. At
Yeah.
all. But the only reason why you're able to tell that it's got that is because I took samples from Busta Rhymes' Wu-Tang song or Busta Rhymes' Woo-Ha song
yeah.
and put them on my beat.
Yeah.
So
So that way you
can
can kind of hear the similarities, but you
Yeah,
can only
yeah.
tell because I did that. Where if I
That's
just
dope.
left them off and I was playing just the beat by itself with that beat by itself, you wouldn't be able to tell if they were the same sample. The beats
Yeah,
would
yeah.
sound totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
So do you stick to hip hop or are you all R&B?
I do everything,
rock,
man.
everything?
I do everything. But just over time, you know what I mean? Like I said, I started with EDM. Like I started with electronic music. Like literally, like when I started producing, I was a brave kid. was fucking 15 years old,
Yeah.
and EDMs and raves were popping in Albuquerque.
Popping.
So that's like what I did. So the very first thing I decided to learn before I actually got into producing was turntables. That was a dance. I love dancing. I was always breakdancing shit. But then I like transitioned to turntables. That was the first thing I did, getting into like actually doing music, was messing with turntables. And then I started picking up Fruity. Then I picked up Fruity Loops. But yeah, man, I started with EDM, and it just kind of, I think because EDM is so, like, there's, you know what I mean? Like, EDM is everything. To me, like, electronic music is the most universal music out there.
Yeah,
Like,
they take whatever is
Yeah.
simple and turn it.
so
into-
like that kind of just helped me as when I started becoming a hip hop producer, just incorporate everything. That's why like I can show you my catalog, and like every beat will be completely fucking different than the other.
Yeah.
There's like no similarities at all, like other than like maybe like percussion, because there is a percussion kit that I like kind of use on all my beats that kind of let you know that they're my beats. You know what I
it's
mean?
like your-
Like you won't hear those on anybody else's beats. So like that's kind of the only reason way you can tell. But man, I love everything. I listen to all types of music. So when I go into making beats, I don't sit down and say I'm gonna make this beat. I just sit down and whatever comes out comes
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hip hop, sometimes it's R&B, sometimes it's something that
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean, completely different or experimental. You know what I mean? It just depends on like what comes out. I don't ever box myself in and you know what I mean. Sit down and like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I just
Yeah.
sit down and create whatever comes out
Yeah.
comes
Kinda how
out.
we've been lately, like-
Eat some mushrooms and
Have a good
blast
time.
off.
Right?
But yeah, man, that's just kind of how I make music.
That's pretty cool.
Like
yeah, man.
a lot of these producers nowadays have like super popular tags. Like you know who it is just before like
The tags,
song
yeah,
comes on.
yeah.
Do you have like any like signature?
You know what?
tags?
I never got into the whole tags things, or you know what I mean, like the whole type beats. You know what I mean? Like I just, like I said, I just make whatever
Yeah.
comes out. Whatever comes out comes out. That's just what it is. So I couldn't really ever do that to myself, like ever really make a tag or anything like that. I have one that I use. It's just like this old. It's like an old movie clip. You know what I mean? And fuck, what does it say? I used to throw it in there every now and then. It's like don't say I didn't warn you.
Yeah.
And then the beat drops, you know what I
That's
mean?
dope.
So that's like really it. So if you hear that, you'll know kind of like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? But that's on, I have that on a few of them. Every now and then I'll drop that on a beat. Seems like when I make more of the stuff that I know that like is going to appeal to like rappers in the more hip hop community, I'll drop that on there. Seems like I'll
Yeah.
put
Sometimes
that on
that tag gets the people hype. Like we
Yeah.
have this one where it's like, oh, what does it say?
Oh, I like that.
Ooh, I like that. And the crowd gets all hyped before it
Yeah.
even like drops
hear
because
that
they
and
know
they're
what
all-
song it is
Yeah.
just from that tag.
That's
Like,
dope. Yeah, see, shit like that's cool. That's a good reason. That's a good way to have, good reason to have some tags, you know what I mean?
Because a lot of producers don't get the shine that they deserve. And
Yeah.
they're
And I
like, I'm going
think-
to throw this tag on there so at least they...
No.
When the tags are original, it really pays off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you have someone that's just like something on the beat or blah
Damn,
blah blah
son,
on
where'd
the
you
beat.
find this?
Yeah, like yeah, you know what I mean. It's like typical stuff. But when it's original, yeah, like I've heard a few and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that tag.
Yeah.
But yeah, normally I don't do tags. You know what I mean? I don't do tags unless I'm sending them out of state. If I'm sending them
Yeah.
out of state, then I'll fucking tag with
Yeah.
that. If don't say I didn't want you, I put that on everything.
Oh,
But like local wise, like I fuck with out New Mexico, man. I know that's why whenever I sell my exclusives here, they're $60 flat, unless I'm doing a deal, and then
Yeah.
it's like $30. You know what I mean? But those are straight exclusives. I won't
Yeah,
give those to
yeah.
anybody
That's a good
else.
ass
You know what I
deal.
mean? And that's just for New Mexico. I won't do that to anybody. Like out of state, like anytime I go and sell something out of state, it's always 150 or more.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't ever settle for anything less. But anything
Yeah.
in New Mexico, $60.
That's love though,
You hear
bro.
that?
Because like,
Get out of
Anybody in New Mexico, $60.
That's exclusive.
that's love. A lot of people don't show love out here like that, man. A lot of people are trying to be the only
Yeah,
ones
man.
to make it, so they're not showing love.
Everybody gotta eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like I've been there and I've been around long enough to know that like, you know what I mean? Like people don't really want to spend money in New Mexico. So if you lower the prices, then they're gonna want to spend money.
Oh,
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just makes sense. You know what I mean?
Make it affordable.
Yeah.
Not everybody's rich around here.
Yeah. If I sell everybody $200 beats, you know what I mean? Half of my catalog's probably not getting sold. It's still
Yeah.
sitting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fast money is better, right?
Yeah.
At least you're out there.
And
too.
they pump out, you know what I mean? And then nowadays, you know what I mean? Producers, everybody's pumping out shit. So if you can't
Oh, yeah.
fucking pump out shit and stay with the times and keep your name out there, then
Has that been something that's hard for you to like transition throughout all the different like eras of music?
you
You've
know
been
what?
doing it
Not
for 20 years, you said. Like,
not really, man. I don't know. It's kind of just kind of like a go with the flow kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Grow.
It's like yeah, you grow as you go. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just like you go with the sound. You know
Now
what I
they're
mean?
doing
Yeah.
this.
I remember back in, you know what I mean, in like the early 2000s, there, you know what I mean, trap snares weren't really very common, and now it's like
That's sort of
everything's
like-
got trap snares on it.
Yeah,
So you know
I
what I
was
mean, you
like,
just
don't
kind of
have
get
trap
used to it.
snare.
That was like the 2010s.
You kind of get used to, you know what I mean, all that stuff. So like, you go with it. You know what I mean. But nothing ever really dies, you know what I mean? Nothing
Yeah,
ever
you're
really
like-
dies. You can feel. I'll still hear boom bap beats to this day, and I'm like, oh my god, this is
Yeah, yeah.
ridiculous. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
ever dies. It's all there,
You
and
started
everything.
out so young, like a lot of these producers that have been doing it as long as you might have started in their 20s, and now they're probably in their 40s or something, or 50s. But you started so young that you just kind of grew with that
Yep.
transition of the music.
Yep. And it's just the ear too, man. Like
Yeah.
I listen to everything. I'll dig on Spotify. I'll find an artist and I'll listen to somebody and it'll like refer somebody else, and
Yeah.
I'll go and click on them, and then I'll
I
be like,
remember I was talking
who are the
to you-
suggested artists for this? And then I'll just start listening to. But then I just hear a bunch of new music.
I
You
was
know what I
talking
mean?
to you on Facebook one time in the comments, and you were talking about like Zillakami and City Morgan.
Yeah.
So whenever I met you on Splash, I was like, damn, you don't look like someone that would like listen to that.
Oh yeah,
It's,
for
like,
sure,
super
yeah.
dope.
Yeah, that's how I am, yeah. But I got a like 10, 11-year-old son who kind of, you know what I mean. He sees things, you know what I mean. And I
Yeah.
don't, you know what I mean. Certain things I'll, you know what I mean. I'll censor him, but wasn't censored growing up listening to hip hop, so I can't do
Yeah.
that to him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's got to learn the way I learned. That's the way I see it. So, you know what I mean. I found out about those guys because of my son, which is kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the music's kind of crazy, but you know what I mean. As long as you're fucking talking to your kids and letting them know that, you know what I mean, that shit ain't real.
Yeah.
None of that's real. You know what I mean? Like don't think, yeah. And he knows,
Say
and he
about the
knows,
Suicide Boy.
and he knows. But like, yeah, man, it's the youth,
my
man,
kids
the
bump
youth,
Suicide
and that's.
Boys and then Flatbush and then some of our music, so it's
Yeah.
like I
And
don't
And
know
that might
if
be
it's
another
that
reason why
anymore.
I'm able to adapt with a little bit more with the times today too, is because my son, I'll be in there making beats and I'll hear him in the room listening to, you know what I mean, what he's listening to.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh
You're like,
shit.
Yeah, okay, I know what
Try
you're
that.
listening to. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's
So,
dope though.
the influence is everywhere, man. It really is.
Does your son have any interest in music?
Yeah, he does. He does. He has a computer right now that we just got, and he's like, "Yo, can you put Fruity Loops on there for me?"
Can
That's
you hook
what's
me
up.
up? That's
How old
pretty
is he?
cool.
Crying.
He's like, yes, I'm so proud of you.
So yeah, but no, I need to hook him up. But yeah, he does. I want to sit there and you know what I mean, just school him a little bit, because there's been times where I'll see him in there and he'll be like, writing. I'll be like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just writing a song." I'm like, "All right, cool,
Oh,
go
yeah.
ahead."
Okay. Yeah.
His son does that too.
But he hasn't showed me anything yet, so I think he's still at that stage where he's not sure yet. You know, he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is kind of cool," but I don't know. So I've asked him, "Hey, you gonna show me any of your songs?" I don't know if I have one ready yet. I'm like, all right.
His son was
But yeah, he is.
showing the teacher at school and stuff on telling
Yeah,
like,
he's all
the
rapping
kids in
for the
his class.
class.
He's like, I'm
Oh
a rapper.
my God.
He was all showing the kids his song and stuff at school. That's dope though. Whenever they're so young and
Yep. And it's cool because, like, if he really did want to get into that, like, he wouldn't have to go anywhere. I can help him with everything.
yeah, you
Yeah.
already
You
have
know what I
been
mean?
there.
I can do everything. I
Who
can
better
mix him,
to
I can
help him
record
than
him. I can, you know what I mean? I can do all that. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have to
Yeah.
go anywhere. He can get everything done right there. I can make beats. I can record his vocals.
Do you
do
record
everything.
artists?
Yeah, I record the homies. I record myself. I actually just dropped a little beat tape,
I
but
seen
it's
that.
like a legit beat tape on Spotify. You know what I mean? It's on all streaming
dope.
platforms. It's
That's
called
dope.
Arcade. And the very last song on that is a song that I mixed and mastered at my house with me and my old bandmate Simon, who's we used to have this crew called Knights of the Zia. And so we did one song. He came back and did the last song with me on that. But yeah, I do the homies and stuff. I'm getting back into it more. I did it a lot back in the day, and then I just stopped. I got more into the beats and I started like doing a lot of the I was an artist myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I started doing the competitions. I was doing like all the Rock the Mics and the mic clubs,
That's dope.
and so I kind of just didn't stop recording people because I was just mainly focusing kind of on myself. And then like now that I'm back in more the producer aspect of it, I'm starting to record more people, but I'm also kind of starting to get the itch to start making more music again. So it's there. You know what I mean? I'm gonna start doing it again. You know what I mean? I won't get as big as to like maybe start like my own like company, like kind of like y'all here or you know Arrows over there. I wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
do that, but you know what I mean? Because I'm a personal guy. I like to be in my comfort space, and
Yeah.
that's like my home. You know what I mean? If you want to come make music with me at my house, we can do that all day. I'm
Right,
fucking with it. You know what I
right,
mean?
going nowhere.
But yeah, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not gonna like, you know what I mean, really make a business out of it, because my business is beats, like, and I can do that from the comfort of my home, and I can put those anywhere. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? And go
Yeah.
anywhere with that.
So like with your beat tape, did you put it out for people to like hop on those beats or?
It's just available. It's on Spotify. It's just like an album. It's kind of like an EP. Like as a producer, like if you listen to it, it's not really. They're formatted for I guess you could rap on them if they wanted to, but it's like a legit album. I looked at it like a legit EP. Me as an artist, not just a producer. That's why the name on the album is different. I'm not on there as Joe Beats or Joe Beezy, which is what I go by now. I used to go by Joe Beats, but I go by Joe Beezy now. But my artist name, so that's why I'm crazy with the like monikers and like have all these different names. So my artist name is Catalina, which Catalina in Spanish means pure. So that's why. So you know what I mean. I just go by Catalina, and that's what it's called. Arcade. It's by Catalina. I called it Arcade because like I feel like as a producer, when you sit down to make a beat, it's like you're starting a video game. You know what I mean? You start with the drums, like level 1, and you just keep building and until you get to the end. It's like when you get to the end, it's the hardest part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're at the end of the game. You got to beat the master. The final master is finalizing your beat. So it's like Arcade is like the stages of a producer is like a video game. So that's why I called it that. And that's why all the tracks are on there is like stage 1, stage 2.
That's lit. That's
Stage
like
3,
really
pretty cool.
bonus stage. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, it's, you know what I mean? And then it even starts off, like the first song has arcade sounds and it starts off with somebody putting a coin in and the coin drops in and then the beat starts. So it's like you're starting the video game, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
So it's dope. It's like a legit album, you know what I mean? Like I really put thought into it. Legit little EP. I won't call it album, call it EP. But it's dope, man. Check it out.
Oh, yeah,
It's under Catalina's K-A-T space A-L-I-N-A. Catalina Arcade. Check it out. It's dope. It's dope.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. All platforms.
So are there any producers in the industry that give you inspiration at all?
Yeah, man. Dr. Dre, Timbaland for sure. You know what I mean? Probably the most, you know what I mean?
Those some of the
Yeah.
most names
Most
that we've
popular
heard
ones,
before.
yeah. Yeah, there's this other cat I really looked up to when I was younger, like kind of like middle of my beat prime, I guess you could say, making beats and stuff, was this dude from Seattle. His name is Sabzi. And he's from Seattle. He's like he's probably not like one of the most, he's not a very famous producer, but man, he's produced, there's a lot of cats that have come out of Seattle that have kind of made a little bit of noise for themselves. Like there's Blue Scholars, and he's produced for this group called Blue Scholars. A lot of underground shit, but Sabzi, man, that guy's a genius. If you ever get a chance to look him up, he's all over Spotify. That dude's got beat tapes, like hours and hours of fucking just beats on his fucking SoundCloud, like just so many beat tapes. That's like all that. And that's where I want to get. You know what I mean? I want to just be able to have people go to my catalog and just check my Spotify out and just have all kinds of beats to just bump. But
that's dope.
Sabzi, but definitely my all-time favorite is Timbaland. Timbaland is my.
He was like the first one doing like the rap electronic shit.
Yeah, and he definitely changed the game. Like he did. You know what I mean? He's amazing, man. Like I don't know, and that's why like if you listen to a lot of my beats, you'll hear the influence in like the way I do my percussion, the way I do certain things in my beats. You'll hear a lot of fucking Timbo influence. Like that's where I get, like I was saying, how I have a certain percussion that I put in my sound. I don't think Timbo ever really used the kit I used, but it's you could tell it's influenced by him. You know what I mean? Like everything. I use this kit. It's a lot of like like it's not really, they're not really like hi-hats and like percussion. It's like all vocals, like somebody doing it with their mouth. Like kind of like beatboxing in a way.
That's pretty cool.
So I had this kit that I have found, and I haven't heard anybody else use it, so I've just kind of been fucking riding with it. Keeping my own sound, you know what I mean? Yeah, keep my own sound, you know what I mean?
They're for like a while in the mid 2000s and early 2000s. Almost every track you heard on the radio is like produced by Timbaland.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
the dude's he's found.
Songs. He was on that 50 Cent song.
He's responsible for some of the most amazing tracks, and not even just hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, look at who was that fucking? What was that group? It's too late to apologize.
Yeah.
I forgot what their name is.
Maroon 5 is.
No, it's not Maroon 5, but they're similar. Damn, I forgot what their name was, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like he crossed barriers, man, and Nelly Furtado.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she was
he was an artist too.
Yeah, and he's an artist. The thing that I'm trying to do more of probably when I come out with music is I'm gonna be singing a little bit more.
Yeah. That's what we've been kind of working on, you know, trying to hit cadence.
The first couple
it's hard, man.
And shit.
It's hard.
The last one we did was pretty good, but the first two that I tried that on, I was like,
yeah. Even me, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep on with this, but I kept on going, and it's working out a little bit so far. Gotta keep thinking outside the box. Can't get boring.
Nope.
It's one of the hardest things.
Everything's changing,
interesting.
man. Even the hip hop game is a lot of singing nowadays.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. I don't know if you can even consider that the hip hop game.
Yeah.
For real.
Well,
It's like
at first, man, I
it
used
broke
to
off
like.
into its like own little
I used
genre
to hate
kind
that
of.
shit. I used to like hate when someone would like be a rapper and a singer. I'm like, ugh.
Music in general these days, I say you could probably say doesn't really have a genre.
It really
Yeah.
doesn't.
There's like sub, I guess you could
There's
say
not even underground
subgenre.
and
Yeah, there's like
mainstream no more
there's
because-
just
like
you
mixed,
can kind of categorize things, but
not really.
There's artists
really.
like Suicide Boys that are considered super underground, but I've seen this thing where they're talking about they make 100K a show, and there's like super underground, bro, and they have like songs that have 100 million views on them and
Yeah.
shit, but you won't never hear them on the radio or nothing.
Yeah.
But so there's like YouTube made it to where there's like no underground or mainstream
it's
or
a trip, man. It's really crazy. You know what I mean? Like just where everything has gone. You know what I mean?
album sales. People that are doing like 100K album sales do like 5K and like physical
Yeah.
album sales.
I mean, perfect
most of the
example
money
of
off
where
royalties.
music has gone. And look at Pitbull.
yeah.
Look at where he was. Damn it, man! Back in the day, look at where he's at now.
Yeah.
Like rapping over EDM, fucking
Yeah.
touring, doing
was showing
festivals.
Latin America's.
I was showing him because
music.
I grew up in Florida. I'm from here, but I grew up in
Like-
Florida, and I was showing him like Pitbull. He was like a hardcore rapper back in the
Yeah.
day. He had like cornrows and shit.
Yeah, I didn't
and
even know that. He showed me. I was like, nah. I'm used to
Bro.
seeing this guy with the bald, shiny head. Like, nah,
Pitbull
no.
was dope. Have you seen the video of him where him and his homie are just like where they're rapping together? Like it's just like a home video recording, bro. He kills,
Uh-huh.
bro. He was amazing, man. But I mean, he's still amazing. Just you know what I mean? He found a
He was
lane.
another one of those ones
Found
that,
a lane
like, on
and
his
he's
platform.
staying.
Found a lane and didn't put the blinker on. He's
Yeah,
like,
he's off
let's
right
go.
Here. It's good enough for me.
yeah, that's cool, man.
So, like, have you ever thought of making an album that's like all beats by you, but like compilation with other artists?
Yeah, I
Local
would still like to do
Mexico
that.
artists.
That shit would be dope to do still. It would still be really dope to do something like that. I've always felt like it'd be cool to do that, or even to like, cause I've never really been one to like ever, like collab. There's been a few other producers that I've collabed with in the past, but like, it'd be cool to just sit down with one other producer and sit there and both make a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
track of fucking
Yeah.
beats for the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just have it
that'd
and
be
then
pretty
get a bunch
dope.
of people to feature on.
That would be dope.
Shit
That would
be
actually
dope.
be really lit.
It would.
I ask almost
And you
every
combine two
producer.
styles, you know what I mean? Combine
Yeah.
two styles, make something totally
There's
new.
only been like one or two.
Yeah, I ask almost
actually.
everybody that we interview that question, and a lot of them say no, that they wouldn't want to do that. But
Some of them. there
yeah,
was
some
like
of
two
them, some of them said yeah that they would be interested.
or that
but-
they have already.
Yeah, there was like one or two that said they have done it.
So that's pretty cool. I think that would be.
I
Pretty
think that
cool
would
to
be
see.
cool.
Oh hell yeah, that should be
that'd
dope because you're
fire.
basically creating a whole new sound. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're taking two producers who have probably two totally different sounds, and then you combine them, and yeah, I mean it's a whole new
And then you can
sound.
get two
And then
artists
you're
that
getting
might not
artists,
have
yeah.
ever worked together and put them on that.
Something
and-
cool, man. You create a whole new style of music,
Oh,
really.
yeah.
That would definitely be dope. So if you're just now tuning in, this is #Beats for Brewing. What we do is we take the producers from behind the scenes because they don't get enough credit for what they do, and we bring them out to the light. We force them out of their little holes. We bring them here. We gather a beat pool, which on Fridays and Saturdays you can get a sale. Just come in and talk deals. They're really cheap, starting at I think like 30, going up from there. It depends on what you want, a lease or exclusive, but we got both. We have a little bit of the pulls from every interview that we've done, every person that we've interviewed. We have it here, so make sure to stop in. 1915 Manal Boulevard, Southern Royalty Studios.
Beats for brewing.
It's brewing.
Beats for brewing.
Now tuning back in, we are sitting here with Joe Beasy. We are about to get grimy into the whole beats that he brought us, so let's get it cracking.
All right, this first beat I'm gonna play is called Swing. It's well, if y'all know Wayne's World. That's what I named it after. Y'all know why. Once you hear the beat, you'll know why.
How long do you usually take making a beat, man?
Depends. Sometimes I can knock them out in like 30. Just depends, you know what I mean? How we're feeling it, yeah. But a lot of times, like this one took me like 2 days, I think. 2 days to make this one. Yeah, it just depends. like I said, 1 to 2 days normally.
Which isn't that long at all.
So I'm trying to be on the camera.
Excuse me?
Little voices.
Yeah.
Do that up. And watch it. Just watch it.
Were you like watching Wayne's World and you're like, I'm gonna do that?
Pretty much.
Fire there.
Alright, should we play another one?
See what's up.
Yeah. This one's called Medieval Future. It sounded like medieval, but it also like it's like futuristic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you like a crazy person?
I'm quite sure they will say so.
Well, that's pretty dope.
That's how medieval.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Hear the. What? What?
Oh yeah, I did hear it.
Is that like, that's you?
That's that pack you were
That you
telling
did?
us about, huh?
The little pack
That you downloaded. Definitely unique stuff in this piece, for sure.
What's dope too is like every time we introduce someone, like you guys always have a different style. We
Yeah,
never had
It's
someone
always
that has like
never
the
the
same
same.
style.
It's always interesting.
Which one would you say is your favorite?
Favorite what?
Your favorite beat?
From the ones I brought?
Yeah.
Shit, the one. Well, it's one for that I wanted you guys to play during the for the video. Can I play it still? You want me to still play it on here?
play it.
Alright,
We'll play it on the intro to shit.
it's my favorite one. It's a sample.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's fire. But it's like some onion
fire.
shit, bro.
Hell yeah, that's hot.
That was fire as fuck.
Hell yeah.
You're like one of
I
the
like samples,
that
man.
brought in like a sample like that too.
What's that?
I said you're one of the first ones that brought in a sample like that too to show us.
Yeah, that's
shit's-
dirty.
that
I like
shit's fire
that.
as
I
fuck.
fuck with that.
That's like something I would hop on right there. It reminds me of like early Kanye.
And it bounces too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like one of those you can fucking bounce, you can ride that shit too.
Hell yeah.
Double time easy on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or you can just
yeah.
fucking hit some grimy East Coast shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell
Do
yeah.
both.
That should be dirty.
Plan on rapping on these?
What's up?
You're gonna rap on these?
Nah, man. I could, but I don't want. I wouldn't. There's a few that I make that I'm like, it's really, really hard for me to rap over my own beats. Like it's so weird. Like I just feel like I'll sit there and try, and I'm like, man, I'll get like 8 bars in, and I'm like, I just gotta give up. Can't do it. There's another one.
Hell yeah.
There's another sample one.
I love samples. That's just like so fire. It's just like you're
Hashtag Beats for Brewing, y'all.
Beats for Brewing. Hey, appreciate y'all having me out, man. Thanks.
Hell yeah.
type shit. How many guys use the show? That good? That good? Want to know more? Or
Show a few minutes.
We usually just do this for a few minutes, have it ready to show in that time.
And then she'll just cut it down and.
It's always different, bro. Like sometimes someone will make a beat right here, like live.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
See, I would have loved to do that, man. That shit would have been dope. I just don't have a laptop. I wish I could have brought a laptop with me.
I like these, bro. You're like really a lot different than anyone else's gimmick. They're like chill, like smoking vibes.
But
You said,
at
like,
the same time,
yeah.
like,
They're not.
yeah, I hear that in the back.
One more sample. Or not sample, sorry.
You said they're all different, and none of them sound alike.
Yeah.
I like that. That shit's fire. It's like mixing the sounds with like beatboxing almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I like that. That's definitely
It makes it sound cool, like, you know, especially when they're like, especially when the beats are like they're like bounce or like trap shit. When you put them in there, bro, I don't know what it is about putting those in there with the trap beats, but they just like they give it a different bounce. They make you bounce different with it. Yeah, it's different.
That's what's up.
I like it, man. That's why I stuck with it. That's why I'm like, man, I'm throwing in everything. Even if it's just one, even if it's just one little one, you know what I mean? Just a quick little, you know what I mean, that comes in every now and then. It just sounds dope. Definitely more along those lines, I guess you could say. Vocal samples too. You'll hear a lot of vocal samples in a lot of my beats. I always try to fuck with the vocals. Little things here and there.
You could like sing on this shit. Yo, this is Beats for Brewing. My name is Shogun. This is my co-host Lazy. This is Joe Beezy. He came in to hang out with us today. Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, yo. For sure. Hey, if you guys want to get a hold of me, you can check me out on
You can check him out.
You can check me out. Just kidding. No, but you can check me out on social media. Let's see, Facebook. Of course, you can find me on Facebook, Joe Beats, Beezy Joe. Instagram, Child Rebel 12. SoundCloud. You can find me under the Joe Beats or Catalina Filthy, Catalina with a K. I'm on all streaming sites right now. I just dropped an EP. Go and get that. I'm on Spotify.
Go get that.
I'm on all streaming platforms. You can look if you're gonna look me up under Catalina, K-A-T space A-L-I-N-A. Did I spell that right? Yes, I did. All right. Cool. Friday and Saturday are beat sales right here at Southern Royalty Studios. If you want to get some of my beats, you can come down here and check them out.
Do that. Hashtag Beats for Brewing.
I do exclusives for $60. Sometimes they're cheaper. Just depends. I guess you can find that out if you hit me up.
So make sure to hit him up.
Wake up in the morning and I got my beats brewing. Beats brewing. Need my beats brewing.
Hashtag Beats for Brewing.